I'm Robin Citizen, the Director of Festival Programming and Cinematheque here at TIFF, and I'm very excited to welcome you to the screening of Baby Ruby this afternoon. Woo! First, I would like to thank our lead and major sponsors, Bell, RBC, Bulgari, and Visa, for their continued support. Thank you to our major supporters, the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto for their continued support. This film plays as part of the Discovery Program, which is generously sponsored by Dyson. And importantly, this film is eligible for the People's Choice Award. Don't forget to vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank Film Nation Entertainment for providing us with this film. So Baby Ruby is the searing, unsettling filmmaking debut of Drama Desk-winning and Tony-nominated playwright Bess Wohl. Actor Noémie Merlant, recently in Paris' 13th District, César nominated for her role in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and in this year's already acclaimed Tar, gives yet another compelling performance as Jo, a new mother who slowly unravels in her new role. Kit Harington, who you may know from a small indie series called Game of Thrones, and more recently, Eternals, plays her concerned husband with great sensitivity. Veteran actress Jane Atkinson and Meredith Hagner round out this cast. Baby Ruby depicts the experience of motherhood as diving into the deep end, complete with impossible expectations, especially in the era of social media hypervisibility. While Jo may question and be uncertain of a great deal around her, Bess always keeps the narrative anchored in the emotional truths of raising an infant. So please help me welcome to the stage filmmaker Bess Wohl.
Thank you so much, Robin. Hello. Thank you so much, TIFF, for having my film here. It is an absolute thrill to be back in person, gathered, watching movies together after 2 long years. So I'm just incredibly grateful to everyone at TIFF for having us. I would like to also shout out our incredible producers who are here, Lauren and Brett Beveridge, Alex Sachs, and Jeff Penman, all rock stars. This film was truly a labor of love, no pun intended, yes, pun intended. And so I just, I couldn't have done it without everybody just giving 100% of their souls, and I'm so grateful. And speaking of that, I want to bring out our magnificent cast. The glorious Noémie Merlant. They are back there. Kit Harington. Meredith Hagner. And Camila Cano Flavia. As you're about to see, these people are all brilliant rock stars, and I'm so grateful to all of them for helping me tell this story. And so, without further ado, thank you again for being here, and I really hope you enjoy the film.
Thank you for sticking around for the Q&A. I have a little bit of housekeeping before I welcome everybody back to the stage. This year, TIFF is offering active listeners for anyone who may require support after a screening. The active listeners can be accessed in the Lightbox, the 4th floor, 11 to 3, and 6 to 10 p.m. With that, please help me welcome filmmaker Bess Wohl and the cast of Baby Ruby. Thank you for joining us. And first of all, happy birthday, Bess. Can I ask you, what made this story come to you, and why did you decide to tell it through film instead of a play, Bess?
Great question. I'm a mother of 3 myself, and I felt that I had never really seen the full breadth of the experience reflected in anything I had seen. I felt like motherhood was always treated sort of with a very narrow, painted with a very sort of black and white, and none of the nuance that I had experienced. And although this is not autobiographical in any way, I just want to say that out loud. My children are the best thing in my life by far, but I did feel like there was room to explore some of the sort of more mind-bending aspects of the journey. And in terms of doing it as a play or a movie, you can't put a baby on stage the way you can put a baby in a movie. So I just felt like it would be impossible to do this in the theater. And also, the film is so psychological, and there's so much interiority, and I think film does that so beautifully. So that was why I was really excited to translate this into film.
The performances are so beautiful all around. I just want to talk a bit to Naomi and Kit. How did you come to this project, and did any of this couple's journey resonate with you?
Yeah, it did resonate. When I first started speaking to Bess about this, I was a very new father. And I had, both me and my wife, had a profound feeling in the very early days of our little boy's life that a stranger had just been plonked into our lives, and we didn't know him. And we were supposed to love this thing unconditionally. But it was just a little strange thing that we didn't know. And I remember feeling quite guilty about that. I remember feeling guilty that I didn't know whether it was love that I felt for this thing. I knew I had to care for it, but that love, had to grow. And that was my experience that wasn't as extreme as, as Joe's in this movie, but it was a feeling of, am I wrong? Am I a wrong parent? So I remember speaking to you about that. And I felt coming to this movie, being such a new father, that I could bring some of my own very recent experience to it. Yeah.
When I first read the script, I was shocked. Actually, I'm not a mother, but I had this sensation that Bess was brilliant in how she wrote this, because there is so many images and things that are not showed about being a mother and what you have to deal with. And I felt it was a very cathartic movie with a lot, I felt like you put your fears, you put your questions, your I don't know how to say that, but I felt like it's something from the stomach that and a woman who expresses herself is so important, because we hide so many things in general. So many things are not told, so many things are not showed. And even if it's terrified, it can be terrified. It's essential, because then we can talk about it. And so I felt it was very important. And for me, the character was quite challenging, because it's, a lead part in English, and I was scared, but we had, Bess is so lovely, so I talked a lot with her, and she made me really confident, and that was so important. So thank you, Bess, for this.
Thank you. How about you two?
I feel so lucky that I got to be a part of the story. And I am a new mother, but I had a 4-month-old while making this. And I agree with Bess, but I needed to see this movie. I needed to know that the messy, complicated, primitive early motherhood experience is all the things. And if any other actress, Noémie is so I just never, even on camera with her, I never knew where she was going to go, and no one that had that level, you needed to have an actress with that level of honesty to play that experience. So I just feel so lucky when Bess and I had a little chat to have been a part of it, and now watching it, I'm just so happy it exists. Good job, guys.
I'm going to turn it over to the audience for some questions, but I have one last one. You kind of end the film in a somewhat symbolic space. It could have flashed forward and we see baby Ruby and she's 2 and everything's fine, but what made you decide that to kind of have this internal battle externalized, I guess?
Well, I think because in a way at the end of the movie, the journey is not over for Jo. It's really just starting. It's sort of like the doctor says, wait till she's 18. Do you know what I mean? She's gotten through this particular moment, but there's so much more to come. And I didn't feel like sort of wrapping up an ending that felt, complete or tied with a bow was authentic to the experience of being a parent. It's forever. And I was really interested in sort of leaving her in this more poetic, psychological space, because so much of the film takes place in a psychological space, and you never quite know if you're in reality or not. And so it felt like it was appropriate to leave the audience in that place where she had confronted something psychologically, but we didn't exactly know, or we don't exactly know what that means for her life and for her future and for the future of her family.
I have a 10 and a 6-year-old, so unfortunately I know exactly what you mean. Audience questions. And sorry, I can't see you, so we can... Yes.
I was wondering, for Bess, I was wondering if you could talk a bit about the decision to make her a blogger and sort of talk about the contrast between her online presence and her, reality.
I'm just going to repeat it. So could you talk about the decision to make her a blogger and the contrast between her online appearance and reality?
Yeah, I think for me that speaks to the idea that what we present is not necessarily who we actually are, or what we're experiencing, even though it seems that way. So a lot of it was about sort of, and the sort of universe of mommy blogs and women's lifestyle blogs is something that I only got to know once I became a mother, and it's enormous and terrifying in a different way from this movie. But it really presents this idealized version of motherhood. So I was interested in sort of playing with that and finding a little bit of humor in that even. And then also I was interested in, the whole movie is about sort of multiple selves, and we see multiple Joes. And when you look on her website, you see Jo, 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 Jo. So to me, it also riffs on the theme of how many identities we have, and motherhood is sort of taking a new identity that you then have to juggle in your sort of cast of characters that is who you are.
And Meredith, the neighborhood moms in this film are horrifying, frankly. They travel in a pack, and they're kind of always present. I'm just wondering how you fleshed out this character, this woman who changes quite a bit in the course of the film.
Well, I was living this experience. I really was, and I was having the not to make this my own therapy, but I was having the experience of that woman's having an easier time than I am, and I would be like, TMI, but did this happen to you? And they would be like, no. No, and I was shooting a show at the same time, and I was I'd be crying, and I'd be like, the director's just having a really easy time with this, and I'd be like, is it hard for you? She's like, no. And so for me, it was easy, because it was there was always those aspirational people where they won't let you in enough. So yeah, I don't know, it was easy.
Thank you. I think there was another question in the back. Yes. So, casting process?
Sure. The casting process was remarkably easy. Actually, I knew very quickly that I had seen Noémie in Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I had been blown away by her, yes, and by that film. And I thought she was extraordinary, and I knew I needed someone who could go to really dark places, but that the audience would still stay with and root for and feel for. I mean, she's the heart of this movie, and if you're not with her, you can't be with the movie. So for me, she's just incapable of an inauthentic moment. She's so real and truthful in everything she does, and so she's just extraordinary. And I knew I needed an actor of that caliber to center this movie. And with Kit and the rest of our cast, I mean, honestly, it came together. I know this is like not the thing that you want to hear from a filmmaker, but it sort of came together like a dream. I just found these actors, and they signed on, and they were just beautifully perfect for the roles, and brought so much brilliance and empathy. And it was a fast shoot. They found their characters very quickly, and it was sort of the magic of working with people of this caliber at this level. And also for the character of Jo, I knew she wanted to be an outsider in her environment, and I knew that Noémie bringing her culture and being French could allow us to shine a light on America in a slightly different way than any other American actor would. So that was also really important to me.
Did you have anything to add to that?
What does that mean? How am I different? Yes, so for it was. I did an American movie, an independent movie, a long time ago, and I had to play a Serbian girl. So it was an English-Serbian mix, and I'm not Serbian at all. Huh? But this, for me, was my first project in United States with, a big part. So I was very excited because I really wanted to play in English, and I don't know. I like this culture. I like the language. Most of the movie I watch are in American, so it was a big challenge. And is it different from France? I thought it would be different. I don't know. For me, an American movie, it's like a machine. I don't know why we have that in our head in France. And actually, when I came on set and I first met all the crew and the amazing cast, it was so like a family, like a real team. And we had such, great moments. And I didn't feel at all this machine thing I had in my head, not at all. So it was kind of a French, it was not different at all. But the culture, it's true, it's different. First, nobody smokes, so I felt really bad. I had really a big problem. But that's the only thing, actually.
Next film, no smoke. We'll make it happen.
Don't smoke.
She had the baby in one arm and a fag in the other.
Not the real baby, the doll, the doll.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for sharing the film. It's going to resonate with so many people. And thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.